what is the point of doing all this? What do you gain from using CM Punk to make people buy tickets, to make people watch your show when he's no longer there? Who does this benefit? Even if CM Punk was to be made out to be this absolute monster who went berserk, who lost his mind, absolutely bludgeoned Jack Perry, flipping over tables, destroying equipment, literally put Tony Khan's life in danger. Even if that's the case, this is still on Tony Khan's hand. On his head, if anything else. This is his fault. He allowed it to escalate to this level. CM Punk said it in an interview. He laid out every single small incident that led to Jack Perry getting choked. I'm sorry, am I supposed to feel sorry that Jack Perry talked shit and got hit, or in this case, got choked? And I'm seeing this excuse that people are making. Oh, but he's a coworker. You don't put your hands on coworkers. What is this? What is this? Kindergarten? What are we in a corporate setting right now? You do realize this is professional wrestling, right? This is a contact sport, or a contact industry where men and women are expected to use their bodies for our entertainment, put their bodies on the line 300 days a year for our entertainment. They have gone through some of the worst situations where pain is unimaginably high. And the type of stuff that they deal with, I would never, ever in my lifetime put myself through. I've seen men go through flaming tables. Men and women go through flaming tables, fall on thumbtacks, get thrown through glass, get stapled. Objects stapled to their face, to their chest, to their bodies. Lose pints, ounces, tons of blood. And you want me to feel sorry for Jack Perry, who, for the record, instigated all this because he got choked for 5 seconds. So, to me, I'm thinking to myself, there's no way that they think this is going to make AEW look good in any way. Kayfabe-wise, it was not going to make them look good. Okay, CM Punk choked out Jack Perry. Well, choked Jack Perry. That just makes Jack Perry look weak. And makes the WWE superstar look like a goddamn boss. Why would you air that? From a kayfabe standpoint, that just buries Jack Perry. From a real life standpoint, that just buries Jack Perry. I can't understand why anyone would come out of this thinking that this is the end of CM Punk. So, going into the show, I said, you know what? I'm not going to make a video. I'm not going to do what everyone else is doing. I am going to wait. Maybe there is something that we are not seeing. Maybe there is something that CM Punk is leaving out. Maybe he lied, right? Maybe he's not telling the full truth. Maybe instead of calmly handling things like he claimed, he was a raging lunatic. He not only choked Jack Perry, he punched the shit out of him. He kicked him, made him bleed, was punching everyone else around. Maybe he was pushing other people. Like I said, flipping over shit. Really put Tony Khan's life in danger. Like, if I had seen that, all right, then that's something to talk about. Maybe it was the complete opposite. Maybe Jack Perry whooped his ass. Maybe Punk started the fight and then Jack Perry came back and whooped his ass. that would have been bad for Punk, right? Okay, so I'm thinking like there's gotta be something that we're not seeing. Because remember, they said they fired CM Punk with cause. Tony Khan went out in front of Chicago and said, my life was in danger. We had a committee of lawyers, Bryan Danielson, and people who were fair-minded look at the video and go, there's no way he can stay. He's got to go. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to give you guys a chance. Show me what you got. Show me what you got. And I saw what they had. And after seeing what they had, I kind of wish I would have made the video earlier. Because it is exactly, beat for beat, what CM Punk said happened, what everyone said was going to be shown, which was CM Punk got in the face of Jack Perry. They got into a scuffle for 5 seconds where CM Punk choked him, and that was it. That was it. That was the footage. The actual footage of this entire ordeal. Where, and again, I have pictures right here in case you haven't seen it. Most of you who are watching me should have already seen it by now. You can find it on social media. Punk, Jack Perry, backstage. And as I'm watching it happen, by the way, we'll talk about the segment in a second. But they're playing the footage. And I'm watching it happen. I'm like, okay, there they are. They're talking. Okay. Punk shoves him. And then Jack Perry comes at him. Headlock. As you see right here. Kind of blurry, by the way. I apologize for the quality. And then Samoa Joe, as he says, comes and breaks it up. That's Samoa Joe right there. And that was it. That's it. They split. There was like a brief moment in there where I think he turned to like an empty space where I'm assuming Tony Khan was, and he yelled at him. And that was about it. He walked away. All of that was 5 seconds. Like, the full footage was like, I think 30. 25 seconds of it was Jack and Punk talking. Then there was a scuffle. It was over in 5 seconds. So you have to understand why I just think this is easily the most embarrassing thing that AEW has done so far. You have to understand why, as a wrestling fan who, you know, is always going to support wrestling companies, I do my best to be fair and give a perspective that is conducive to the growth of the wrestling business, to the growth of wrestling. You have to understand why I think this whole thing was absolutely fucking stupid. This whole thing just makes everybody look bad. So first of all, let me get this straight. That's what CM Punk got fired over. He got fired over a 5-second incident where, quite frankly, nobody really got hurt. Jack Perry got shoved, choked a little bit. He's okay. No black eye, no nothing. But he shoved him. That's what got him fired. That. Oh, CM Punk's a monster. Oh, why would you put your hands on the coworker? Are you serious? That's what got him fired. Most of you who are watching me right now, I guarantee you, if you've been watching wrestling long enough, have seen something 10 times as worse than what you just fucking saw. He shoved him and choked him for 5 seconds. Okay, yeah. CM Punk initiated it. Did CM Punk need to do that? No. Could he have handled it better? Yes. Did David Schultz need to smack a reporter? No. Did Bret Hart need to punch Vince McMahon? No. But we praise those guys for doing what they did, right? We forget that Jack Perry initiated this shit. CM Punk had no business being involved with Jack Perry. They threw this in his lap because Tony Khan wouldn't be a goddamn leader and tell Jack Perry not to use real glass. You know the story. You watched the interview. And then Jack Perry decided to be a little brat about it. He talked shit and he got hit or choked. But that's what got Punk fired. But I guess, you know, when you tie that into what happened the year before at Brawl Out, All Out, him having his outburst, which again was instigated by Hangman Page and the Young Bucks because they were mad at him for Colt Cabana not getting TV time, when in reality, that was because of Tony Khan. Because even after CM Punk is gone, how much TV time has Colt Cabana got? Oh, let me look. Nothing. None. You want to know why? Because he sucks. No one cares about Colt Cabana. Great athlete. Great talent in his heyday. He ain't as good, halfway as good, near as half as good as he used to be. And all this was over him. But yeah, that's what happened last year. So that on top of this, I guess, is what led to him being fired. And everyone said the same thing back then too. Well, CM Punk shouldn't have punched the Young Bucks. He threw the first punch. Let me see that video footage. But I guess we can't show it because of NDAs, right? But okay. Let me go off of what the haters are saying about CM Punk. He's a monster. He is an evil son of a bitch. He should not be in AEW. Question number 2. Why did you wait this long to air it? If this is what got him fired, where the hell was this in September? When you went out in front of Chicago and told the world, we fired CM Punk, why not air this footage? If I was Tony Khan, this is the first thing they would have saw. I would have walked out there getting booed and said, CM Punk is no longer here, and here's why. Play the footage. And then told them, thank you, CM Punk, for everything that you've done. If you want your refunds, you can get them at the door. Or wherever you get them from. The reason why they didn't play this footage is because when you really, really think about it, this is a dumb reason to fire somebody. It really is. I'm sorry. But it didn't matter anyways because CM Punk quit. He quit. So regardless, he was leaving. And then I have to question, like, what about anything that I saw put Tony Khan's life in danger? So now this makes Tony Khan look weak. It makes him look incompetent because he was nowhere near that. I didn't see him in the footage. Maybe he was over in the corner that was not being shown. Maybe he was yelling at Tony Khan. People will say he lunged at Tony Khan. Oh, CM Punk was going to tear Tony Khan apart. He was a monster. You had Samoa Joe and all those men around you. And you felt your life was in danger? You saw the footage. You saw how many people were back there? Worst of all, what's the one thing that we as fans have been saying we wanted out of all of this? When it comes to the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, the Elite, CM Punk, this whole drama, what's the one thing we've been saying? Look, if you want to get past it, if you want people to forget about it and not have this dark cloud hanging over you, come together, let bygones be bygones, get in a room, talk it out, turn it into a storyline, and see if you can make money off of it. We've been wanting that for years. And for the longest time, I actually thought that's what they were going to do. But then we kept being told that the Young Bucks don't want to work with CM Punk. They want nothing to do with CM Punk. They don't want anything to do with him. They don't want to be associated with him. We're going to separate these two. We're going to go as far as to separate the entire roster into 2 shows to keep them apart. It was that bad. It was so bad that they said we can't even let these guys be in the same room. And so it got to a point where I said, well, I guess it's just not meant to happen. So you have to understand how not only sad this is, but also hilariously embarrassing it is for me to see them, after CM Punk has been fired and is now in the competition's hands, now doing business for WWE, doing bigger business for them than he's ever done for AEW. Now, when he's no longer there, the Young Bucks decide, now we want to make money off of him. Now we want to use him to advance our storylines. Now we want to use the incident for heat, to generate heat for a tag match at AEW Dynasty. Who the hell said that was a good idea? We're going to use CM Punk to generate heat for a match in AEW. We're going to use a WWE superstar to generate heat for a match in AEW. Because apparently we can't come up with something to do it for ourselves. I am flabbergasted that this is what they did. And I gave them a chance. I actually said they can't be this stupid. Come to find out, they are this stupid. The definition of stupidity is doing something you know is not going to work. You know it's going to backfire. Nick Jackson and Matt Jackson are very intelligent people. They had to know that this was not going to go over the way they think. This isn't just an incident that happened at a store. You already know the way wrestling is. This shit happens all the time. You think this is the only time two men have gotten into a fight? Hasn't AEW had multiple fights already? Involving Sammy Guevara, of all people? And that's just the ones I think about. Think about all the fights you've heard about in wrestling history. Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Booker T, Batista. Hell, Bryan Danielson almost got into it with Triple H in 2014 one time. Remember that story? And that's just the ones that come to mind. And that's just in wrestling. There have been brawls backstage in basketball. There have been brawls literally on screen with every sport. Football, basketball, baseball, hockey. This 5-second incident. This 5-second incident almost buried All In. The biggest show in AEW history was almost overshadowed by this. Really? This is what almost brought AEW All In down. An incident that really should have never happened to begin with. If I'm in WWE, I'm looking at this and I'm laughing my ass off. I'm just laughing my ass off. I'm laughing my ass off for a multitude of reasons. Number one, that this is what got him fired. Number two, this is what the Young Bucks are using to promote their tag match. They can't come up with anything else, something more creative. It wasn't big enough that you and FTR have been having a feud for years, and FTR was already kicking your ass. Now it's like, okay, we need to win this. No, we had to bring in CM Punk, who's not there anymore. And I'm thinking, okay, you're getting this heat. So what? You're going to have people chanting for CM Punk or CM Punk's friends? So now you're just giving more attention to the WWE talent and not the talent you have now. Instead of focusing on stories, original stories, to help grow your audience, you had 35 people on Dynamite tonight in a 13,000 seat arena. 13,500. So 14,000 when you really think about it. You barely had 3,000 people in there. You barely have any storylines going. Mercedes Moné. You got Mercedes Moné, Kazuchika Okada, and Will Ospreay. Why are we giving TV time to CM Punk? The time to use CM Punk to generate heat for the Young Bucks was after Brawl Out. The time to air this footage was after you fired him. That was 8 months ago, almost a year ago. This needs to be buried. You need to move on. The quicker you guys can get over this, the better your look. Because it's clear to me, quite frankly, that everything CM Punk said in that interview was correct. I'm not absolving him of anything. Yeah, I agree. He pushed Jack Perry. He choked him. He should have handled that situation better. I agree. But I'm sorry. I have sat through a lot worse and heard a lot worse stories from wrestlers in the past that I have forgiven, and some things, like you, have praised wrestlers for. And you want me to say CM Punk is an evil son of a bitch because Jack Perry talked shit and got hit or choked? It's not going to happen. You don't like it, you can unsubscribe and go watch someone else. Welcome to wrestling. Now, I don't know what the hell this was supposed to accomplish. If the idea was to embarrass CM Punk, it backfired 100%. The only people who are embarrassed are AEW and everyone that thought this was a good idea, that being Tony Khan and the Young Bucks. Seeing FTR go out there and try to spin it in a way where I don't even know what they were trying to do. I guess the whole point was move on from the past. Let's move into the future. I wrestle for them. It made them look horrible because that's not why this whole thing started. The whole purpose of this feud is simply we lost to FTR. The Young Bucks lost to FTR because they were distracted by CM Punk choking out Jack Perry for 5 seconds. Don't put your hands on the co-workers backstage. Is this professional wrestling or not? Most of you who say that probably have never been in a fight before. Don't be surprised when you poke the fucking bear and the bear bites your head off. So if you're expecting me to condemn CM Punk, if you're expecting me to come up here and slander him and, oh yeah, you're absolutely right, he is an evil son of a bitch and we should never let him back. Yeah, this is not the channel for you. Go watch someone else. I don't care. Most of you who are going to leave your comments in the comment section anyways, who are going to slander me, are just going to get blocked anyway. So have fun. I'm going to let you write your 30-minute comments talking shit, and then I'm just going to block you. Because I'm tired of it. Anyone that's saying anything other, AEW should stay away from this, should never bring this up, should move on from this, and focus on their roster. If you are not saying anything other than that, I'm not trying to hear you. I'm not trying to hear it. This was embarrassing. An absolute disaster. And you wonder why people are making fun of AEW right now. Why it's a laughingstock. All this over an interview. CM Punk didn't go out of his way to say anything about them. He was interviewed about it. And he answered questions. That's all he did. That's all he did. Last week it was embarrassing to have Adam Copeland go out there. Rah rah for AEW. And now this week they're showing footage. What's next? What else are you going to do with CM Punk to prove once and for all that he is the biggest draw for your show? Imagine if they popped a big rating for this. Imagine if they popped a big rating. So what? Now you gotta keep doing it to keep that rating. But how embarrassing would it be if they did get more viewers because of this? For mentioning CM Punk. And then the very next week, they don't keep him. I don't get it. I just think everybody involved looked bad. And anyone saying otherwise, I don't know what to tell you. But someone will defend it. Someone will find a way to go, this was great television. This is the greatest thing ever. But okay, whatever. It was bad. It was horrible. And I was someone that gave him a shot. Move on. Punk is gone. He's gone. You had your opportunity to make money with him. He's gone. You had your opportunity to generate heat with him. He's gone. He's gone, and he's not coming back. Focus on the talent you have now. That's my thoughts. Go crazy. Light up my comment section. I don't care. I said what I had to say. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for leaving a like. And everyone who's gonna be feeling some kind of way. I'm out of here. This is just Alyx signing out right here in Alyx's world. It might not seem like it, but this is still a safe space for wrestling fans like you. When you're